This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, is the city harbouring a culture of rape? One local organisation says it is and demands action. Another call goes out for the quality of rental accommodation to be improved. We'll find out from whom and why. And the police open more than just cell doors in a bid to attract more people into the force. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. The city is harbouring a culture of rape, according to one local organisation. Rape Crisis Dunedin held its yearly street march in the CBD on Saturday. Members say more action needs to be taken to improve resident safety.
Taking back the streets. About 200 people have been marching through central Dunedin to raise awareness of the city's rape culture. That's a term used by Rape Crisis Dunedin, which organised the early evening protest.
Education's the key, I believe, to changing what I believe to be a rape culture that we have in Dunedin and all over New Zealand.
The group holds a street march every year. It's one of the ways that members bring dark problems into the light.
The issues that people deal with locally are the same issues that people deal with all over New Zealand: rape, sexual abuse and sexual harassment, a lack of understanding around the concept of consent.
Protesters made their way to the Octagon, where they pulled their placards and sat listening to speeches. One of the incidents being discussed was a social media page set up by a male University of Otago student. It was shut down after drawing condemnation from female students, university staff, police and the wider community.
Last year we saw the Rape Appreciation website which sprang up, which was a group of boys, young men actually, sharing images of women without their consent.
That kind of thing is exactly what Rape Crisis Dunedin is wanting to end. The group holds free workshops in schools and community centres to educate youth and adults about healthy relationships.
Nobody should feel fear about walking at night in the streets, no matter what they're wearing, no matter what they've had to drink, whatever the circumstances. We all have the right to be safe.
Members are ultimately aiming for an informed, supportive and safe community. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
A man is in hospital with serious injuries following a hit and run in the central city. The man was struck by a vehicle in Dowling Street about midday yesterday. An off-duty nurse found him on the street with severe cuts and a bone protruding from his leg. The driver of the Subaru Legacy that hit him had driven off. Police rushed the victim to hospital as no ambulances were available at the time. His injuries aren't considered to be life-threatening. Officers investigating the incident want to hear from any witnesses or anyone with information about it. The Child Poverty Action Group is calling for local housing to be improved. Members have just launched a nationwide campaign to raise awareness around housing quality, and they're targeting some locally specific issues.
Members are supporting the plan to set up a warrant of fitness for houses. They're also advocating for more affordable heating and a review of the government's accommodation supplement.
Housing is one way that poverty translates into poor outcomes. So in other words, if you're poor in terms of your income but you still have access to good quality housing and enough fuel, you're unlikely to experience some of the really negative effects to do with health and education.
Local group members say there's no simple solution, but better housing will help to diminish the effect poverty has on families. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
About $4,000 worth of gear has been stolen from a Mornington house that was ransacked in a burglary. The Mailer Street home was entered over the weekend, but its occupants are unsure how thieves got in. A laptop, digital camera and PlayStation were taken and the home rummaged through. Thousands of dollars worth of other electronics, clothing and luggage have also been stolen from inside. The occupants returned home to find the back door open, although they had left it locked. About 1,000 people have been through the Central Police Station over the weekend. They got a glimpse of the cells and experienced the Armed Offenders Squad, but it wasn't for the usual reasons.
Going behind traditionally closed doors, the city's Central Police Station has been opened up to the public for one day only. A guided tour of the cells proved to be a major drawcard with about 1,000 people attending. But police are aiming to do more than just satisfy curiosity.
The open day is really to demystify what the police do and how they operate and where they operate for members of the public. There's a huge amount of interest out there to know what we do, what we really do.
Staff from Red Cross, St John and Search and Rescue were also on hand, adding to the public's knowledge of local emergency services. They're wanting to clarify the roles of each organisation and how they work together. But for some, the message is simple.
Well, the police and all that, they help people and stop the offenders from getting other people again.
Another aim of the open day is recruiting future police officers and showing young residents what the job entails. Police are seeing benefits in talking with the public about their role in the community.
If they know that we're approachable and friendly, I think that's going to be of benefit to everyone. There's two things we want to do here in Dunedin. We want people to be safe and we want them to feel safe as well. The two things going hand in hand, that's really important.
The interest in this year's open day far exceeded expectations. Police dogs and patrol cars captured the attention of adults and children alike, but some were more intrigued by other displays.
The Armed Offenders Squad, because they have lots of cool stuff.
Police are hoping the station open day helps to clear up some misconceptions about the force. They say the job isn't just about locking up baddies, but also keeping the general public safe. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we'll find out what can and can't be burned outdoors, and we'll take a look at the goals local engineering students are setting for themselves.
Big Orange for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Mobility Scooters Otago. Mobility scooters, new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers. Free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 King Edward Street, opposite Westpac.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders, and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. the SSL digital console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Congratulations, you're getting married. Hi, I'm James Morris, wedding celebrant, and it's my privilege and a pleasure to bring you the perfect ceremony for your perfect day. Don't wait or contemplate. Your consultation is free with no obligation. jamesmorris.co.nz.
Welcome back. The Consumers Price Index is up slightly, having risen 0.3% in the last quarter. Higher housing-related prices are being credited for the small increase, along with more expensive holiday packages. That's been partly offset by lower vehicle licensing fees. Vegetable prices have also contributed to the end result, with costs up 14%. The weaker New Zealand dollar has influenced prices for petrol. Overall, the CPI has risen 0.5% in the last year. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 15 points. It's now at 5,835. The FTSE is up 39 points. And to the exchange rates, and the Kiwi dollar is down against the currencies we follow. As summer approaches, the Otago Regional Council is reminding residents about what can be burned outdoors. The council has recently prosecuted several people for burning prohibited items. Director of Environmental Monitoring and Operations, Scott McLean, joins us to talk about it. Good evening, Scott. What are some of the materials that we're not allowed to burn outside?
There's a whole list of prohibited items. They include plastics, tannalised timber, waste petroleum products, tyres, rubber. A whole raft of things.
What are some of the most common items that still get burned outdoors?
Plastics definitely feature up there. Polystyrene, tyres, and tannalised timber.
Can you recycle polystyrene?
As far as I understand, you can. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about the recent prosecutions by the council.
Yeah, so we've brought a number of prosecutions recently. Most of them have related to burning prohibited items such as tannalised posts, tyres, and oddly enough, a couple of fridges. And so they've been prosecuted on that and some objectionable and offensive smoke at the boundary of the properties.
Is much of this activity happening here in Dunedin?
No, very little of it. Most of it relates to central Otago and the Queenstown Lakes area. Most of the complaints we get about Dunedin relate to smoky domestic chimneys.
Is it as a result of it being difficult to recycle or dispose of some items like a fridge?
I don't believe so. I think most people know fridges shouldn't be burnt. So yeah, it's probably just poor practice really.
Has the problem been worse this year compared to normal?
No, last financial year we had 239 complaints that related to outdoor burning throughout Otago. This year it's looking like it's tracking around about the same as last year.
What about bonfires? Do you get many complaints about those?
We do from time to time, yeah, bonfires, and a lot of that relates to objectionable or offensive smoke at the boundary. So we just ask people to be mindful of their neighbours and
What are the rules around bonfires? Yes, is it a straight out yes or no? Do you have to be in a certain place?
There's different rules for everywhere. So if someone wants to light a fire outdoors, we really encourage them to do their homework first. So we have obviously the list of materials that can and can't be burnt. Really need to check in with Otago Rural Fires. We've just entered a restricted fire season on Saturday. And also for Dunedin City Council has their own outdoor burning rules.
What are the penalties?
Under the Resource Management Act, individuals can be fined up to $300,000 or companies up to $600,000. So the prosecutions we've taken recently, I think have averaged out around about $8,000.
Which is a considerable amount for most people. Is it a deterrent? You're not finding that the same people are offending?
No, it would be a pretty solid deterrent. So no, the cases lately have not been recidivist offenders.
Now the council also monitors air pollution. Tell us a wee bit about that.
Yeah, so under the Resource Management Act, regional councils have a responsibility for monitoring air quality. So the Ministry for the Environment have set out national environmental standards for air quality, and we monitor to those standards.
Is the air quality bad here in Dunedin?
No, it's quite the opposite. It's actually very good. We've been monitoring in central Dunedin near Anzac Avenue for over 10 years now, and we meet the national environmental standards, and in fact pollution levels are gradually decreasing in that time.
Is our susceptibility to wind, such as what we have today, one of the reasons why our air quality is good? Yeah,
topography and weather plays a big part in it. We don't have any of the problems that other parts of Otago have, such as the Wanaka and Milton with the inversion layers.
What should people do if they're unsure about what to burn and where?
Visit our website or give us a ring, and so we've got a comprehensive list of prohibited materials, some guidelines on burning and areas and different rules.
Director of Environmental Monitoring and Operations, Scott McLean, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, a grass cart challenge motivates engineering students and a disappointing end to the season for Otago's ITM Cup team.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new All Black Pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boy store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
This year's Oamaru Heritage Festival's theme is Alice in Wonderland, celebrating the sesquicentennial of its writing. Join us in Oamaru November 11th to 16th. See www.vhcu.co.nz for details. And don't be late for this very important date.
Pregnant? Need to talk?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Welcome back. A new police chief has been chosen to lead the Southern Policing District from the local headquarters. Detective Superintendent Michael Pannett will become the district commander in January. He's currently the New Zealand Police Liaison Officer in Washington, D.C. His Dunedin-based role is being filled by Inspector Jason Guthrie at the moment. The former district commander left earlier this year to take up a senior position in Wellington. Local engineering students have been testing the torque of their homemade engines. They've been racing grass carts in a South Island challenge, and with the finish line behind them, they've got other goals in sight.
Clocking up some speed. Grass cart racers from around the South Island have been tearing up a temporary track at King's High School. This challenge is held every year for students of secondary schools, polytechnics and vocational courses.
There's quite a bit of work, planning, organising, buying components, buying material, pricing material, PowerPoint presentations, all that kind of stuff. So it's quite a lot involved.
Carts are made by teams of students throughout the year as they're covering the basics of engineering and mechanics in class. This racing challenge is the fun part of what's seen as a valuable education, resulting in unit standards.
So with local education, with high schools and polytechnics and the like, we try and make sure that all the skills they pick up on building a grass cart helps them move into the engineering and automotive trade sectors.
The challenge has been running for about 8 years and has been held locally a couple of times before. It involves a slalom, a sprint and a relay race.
It's a bit difficult because it's rained overnight, it's nice and slippery, so you really got to take care on the corners, try not to slip out.
Ultimately, the event is about having fun, but there's also a lot of thought that goes into the subtleties of driving carts as opposed to cars.
Oh, it's a bit different, it's just a lot more responsive, you slide out a lot quicker, you go around corners a bit easier.
Students are now preparing for their final tests with the goal of getting work in the automotive and engineering sectors. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
Otago's dreams of making this year's ITM Cup Championship final have been dashed by a strong Wellington side. The team had a gruelling lead up to the match, playing 3 games within 10 days. That's partly being blamed for Otago's 20-point loss to the Lions. But there is some consolation for the local side. Otago scored twice as many tries during the tournament than last year and has finished this season with a higher ranking. The side has ended up in 10th place, up 3 spots on last year. And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. About 200 people have been marching through the CBD to raise awareness of problems around the alleged local rape culture. The Child Poverty Action Group says poor housing is at the centre of many issues within the community and government action is needed. And police are hoping a station open day will clear misconceptions about their role and spark an interest for future officers. And it's time now to find out what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. Bruce Query joins us. Good evening.
Good evening, Rebecca. A document which has been released to the Otago Daily Times reveals that there will be even more delays to the rebuild of the Dunedin Hospital. The timeframe for that $300 million project will be much slower than what the public has already been told. Speaking of construction though, there is building underway at an inner city Dunedin hotel which is going to almost double its capacity, so that's another sign that tourism just might be growing in the south down here. The University Otago staff who took a day off when there was a gun threat have been told that they're going to be docked a day of annual leave. In our travel section we'll take a bumpy ride across a highway in the interior of Mongolia And in sport, we've got a column which suggests humbly why Southern Hemisphere rugby teams are better than Northern ones.
Oh, that'll be a sure winner, I'm sure. That's tomorrow's ODT. Thank you, Bruce. Time now for local weather.
This local weather report proudly brought to you in association with Silberhorn Sportsville.
And we begin with today's city view. It's taken of an abandoned house near the Northern Motorway. And around the city at 3 o'clock today, 12 degrees for both the central city and the Taieri, 11 for the gardens. To the situation, and the familiar west to southwest flow will continue through this week with a trough of low pressure due over the south on Wednesday. To some of the main towns in the Lower South Island for tomorrow, strong nor'westers with cloud increasing for Invercargill and Te Anau, and nor'westers with cloud increasing for Gore and Alexandra. And nor'westers with cloud increasing for Queenstown, Oamaru, Wanaka and Twizel tomorrow. Highs are between 19 and 23 degrees. And Dunedin tonight becoming fine with a low of 8. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow with mild nor'westers freshening during the day and to return to a more palatable high of 18 degrees. And on Wednesday, strong to gale force westerlies, bit of rain later on, 22 degrees though in the meantime. And finally, to the Otago Pellet Fire's tidal and fishing information. High tide tomorrow morning is at 10 to 10. Low tide follows at 4:45. And fishing conditions look average tomorrow, although you might strike success if you have your line in the water at around 6:30 in the morning. And that is local news for Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.